hi, I'm Deb. I'm the founder of RoomPlays, and I wanted to welcome you all today to our summer kickoff of the Meet the Designer podcast series. So we did this last spring. It was super popular. Lots of people were interested. So we wanted to kick this off again for this, this part of the year. Summer is an exciting time, and we wanted to sort of bring some of our top designers to come and talk to you all about it. So very quickly, just before we introduce our special guest for today, Allison from Threadofgold. We'll just give us a couple of seconds for Allison to join us. Until then, I'll tell you about RoomPlays. So as you know, RoomPlays is your one destination for you to discover and book some of the best interior designers from all over the world. Entirely in your budget. The entire engagement can happen completely through the platform. And our whole mission is to truly democratize interior design, to truly empower interior designers, stylists, creators, and design influencers who have the skill for design to launch their own brand and start connecting with clients globally. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and invite Allison to come in and join us.
Hi.
Awesome. Whew. Technical difficulties. Sorry about that. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good too. So excited to talk to you, Allison. Where are you calling in from?
From the Woodlands, Texas. It's a little north of Houston.
Wonderful, wonderful. Hope you're having a fabulous Friday. I thought it's a good time to chat. Friday afternoons, have a glass of wine.
Nice.
Wonderful. So, Allison, I've been trying to talk to you. So tell us, and all of our viewers, tell us about you. Tell us everything that you want to share about the wonderful person that Allison is.
Okay. I'm Allison. I own Threadofgold Home, and it's an interior styling and professional organization business. My kind of tagline is interior styling and professional organizing with a heart for the homemaker. And kind of my whole vision is to really, like you said, democratize interior design and really empower homemakers, not in the sense of like a 1950s homemaker, but like, if you live somewhere, you're a homemaker. And I want to help people really love where they live and kind of help them with the intentional details. I'm married. I've been married for 8 years in a couple weeks, and I am a mom of 3, two twins, 4-year-old boy-girl twins, and a almost 2-year-old. I don't pay attention to the months. Daughter. So
that's awesome. That's fantastic. Tell us a little bit about what you offer on RoomPlays and how can people find you?
Yeah, so I am in the budget section of RoomPlays, and I am offering really just, I'm got like some, sorry, I'm on my consultation page. So the thing that I'm most excited about is the consultation because it's really a time where you can book a call. We can sit face to face like this and really just problem solve. I love helping people figure out what their design style is. And really, I think that when you kind of put a name or a label on it, you don't necessarily have to follow it, but it's a really good filter for when you're shopping to know, that you're drawn to coastal style. You might not like a beach house vibe, but you do like kind of the
pastels or like,
So I really like helping people figure out their design styles and kind of problem solving, hearing their pain points, and then coming up with like an actionable plan for them where they just feel confident to take those next steps on their own. And then I also offer just the accessories package where they have all their furniture, but they just want to kind of beef it up. Maybe they want to, style their mantle or whatever, and I can give them some links to some stuff that will really complete their space. And then of course, room to room, nursery design, living room design, really any room that they're needing help with.
Fantastic. And you guys, so Allison has it. You can just find Allison, and we'll share this toward the end when we actually publish the video, but you can easily find her and just contact her through the site. Feel free to directly book with her and get your home styling started. Awesome. But I just want to learn a little bit more, so COVID-19 has obviously, pivoted the whole playbook, right? Like interior design used to be such an in-person engagement model and so on. What is how has some of your personal approach changed, especially with working with clients virtually or remotely?
Yeah, well, for me, I actually started my business during COVID. So
Wow.
it really kind of gave me the motivation and sort of like the kick I needed to really just pursue my passions. I think that the world kind of shifted and everybody realized, hey, we don't have to do things the way we've always done them. And I was working in human resources prior to becoming a mother. And I was sort of at that point where my twins were a little bit more self-sufficient, where I felt like I could kind of dip my toes back in. But you know, when you become a mother, you kind of, your priorities sort of change and you realize like, I don't want to be working just to work. I want to do what I'm passionate about. And
Yeah,
so that's kind of what
absolutely.
COVID-19 did for me in terms of motivating me to even start my business. But what I've realized is that I, while I've had, you know, local business as well, I've really been able to help people from all across the country. And it's been cool just kind of digging into their stories and meeting different people and kind of helping them out with their spaces and really connecting in a way that I didn't really think about before.
That's amazing. I mean, that's what exciting to hear. Like, while this has been such a rough time for really the whole world, I think a lot of people have also found their true calling and like kind of taken the plunge to go figure this out. Like, nobody thought that you can actually design someone's space comfortably or with skill until you actually had to do it. And now that you're doing it, it's exciting to see how like there's so much talent. So tell us, let's dig into your process a little bit. So like, what questions do clients approach you with, and what is your sort of process when you're sort of going from the first conversation to like delivering the final design?
Yeah, I think that in my experience, my virtual clients have kind of either like, well, for the pretty much completely, they have their foundational pieces for the room. So they'll have like their furniture, like a big couch or like a sectional, or they will have their, you know, bed or something like that, but they really love, but they're like, how do I make this cohesive? That's like the
Yeah,
one, cohesion is like everyone's struggle. Um,
yeah,
just, you know, I think that they realize like there's not really a you know, there's not really a something that binds it all together. And that's kind of what I help with. And I think that people had so much time over the last year to just sit in their homes and kind of look around. And I think DIY and TikTok made people like motivated to do stuff, but then they realize, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. And so
yeah,
that's where we step in and kind
yeah.
of help them bring it all together.
Yeah, and I think that's fantastic. I think something that even I've learned is I think there's just so many sources of inspiration. There's Pinterest, there's obviously the gram, TikTok, and you can watch AGTV and whatnot. But there's the inspiration, and then there's the products, and then there's your own house. Like, how is all of this gonna look good with the walls I have, with the rug that I already have, or this day bed I already have? There's a lot of skill that actually goes into creating a space that is firstly cost effective, so that you're not buying a whole bunch of
Yeah,
expensive pieces, because that's the easy way. Buy a whole bunch of
totally.
expensive pieces and it's all gonna likely look good, probably not. But I think, how do you effectively and like cost effectively and skillfully put it together? I think that's why I think, you know, I think people need to learn a little bit more. And that's the whole purpose of chatting with interior designers, is to bring visibility to the audience in terms of what do you get, like what is that skill that you feel like you don't have it, and this is really what the designer brings to kind of pull that space together.
Yeah, and I like to educate my clients on, you know, just like little hacks and tricks to kind of achieve that look so that moving forward they feel really confident. And whenever I
Yeah.
send them their links or their mood board or whatever, I tell them, hey, you can shop these links directly, or you can use this as a guideline when you're just out and about and you can feel confident to purchase something similar so that, you know, you really have that confidence to, you know, start, you know, doing it on your own.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's the fun. Like, that's the whole fun with virtual designers. You get the guidance, but then you get to be part of the creative process because you're the one who's like sourcing it and enjoying like piecing the pieces together. So I think it's a blend between having professional guidance, but also having like your creative side kind of like explore what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So I know we don't have an opportunity to do this just because this is on video and so on, but I would love for to be able to see some of like the how you've helped some of your clients achieve their interior goals. So maybe if we, at a later point, you can like send me some of the work you've done, and we can flash the mood boards and so on for people to take a look at. But
Yeah, definitely.
what is your go-to like vibe or design style? Like, what do you love the most? And also like, is that your specialty, or are you open to like more styles as clients come to you?
Well, I would say I am naturally drawn to kind of a transitional look. I really love antiques, but I don't want every single thing in the house to look old, but I also don't want everything to look like you could just buy it at,
Yeah,
Pottery Barn or whatever.
yeah.
So I really like marrying the two styles together. So I get really excited when people love antiques. I like to look up their, they'll give me their zip code or their city or whatever, and I'll look up antique stores in their area, and I'm like, go here, check this out, because I just feel like it's so, I don't know. I grew up going to antique stores, so I love doing that. But in terms of, results or whatever, I just had a friend that I did a virtual package for who is living in Austin, Texas, and she really wanted an Austin inspired guest room. And guest
Oh,
rooms are
cool.
fun because they're,
Yeah.
there's not as many rules, and you're not really too like stuck to someone's personal style because it's not for them to be in every day. And so we really got to play around with colors and like local Austin photography for the artwork.
Wow.
And it was just really fun. She put it together super fast. And one of the things like we were talking about before, she had this big bed that she wasn't crazy about. It was really just a frame, and it was a black box kind of on the floor, and she was like, I have to keep this, but I don't like it. So what we did was we got a king size comforter to cover it up when it's a queen size
Oh,
bed, just to
cool.
kind of mask
Give
that.
that.
And yeah,
Yeah.
and she was excited about that. So I definitely liked to teach them little tricks, and then I love when I get to do my style. But I have done some interesting people's styles are it's really fun to hear what how they label it.
Yeah,
um
yeah.
they've got like people will say they want uh you know they want a farmhouse style, but they hate farmhouse, like things like that, where it's like you're like, okay, so what? Like just kind of figuring out, or farmhouse glam rustic, just like all these every word together, and you're like, okay, well,
Yeah.
let's try it. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll
How,
just keep
how,
trying.
how do you break it down from there? Like, because obviously people are coming in with a certain mindset, even though, and I think this is what, like, you can't, it's kind of funny because you can't box a certain person or like their vibe into like one of 16 mid-century or something. Like, everyone has their personal like
Oh
approach.
yeah.
And you can't say that everyone's going to be dressed in pink. And pink is not my style. So you just can't like box people in like colors or such. So how do you kind of break it down from like the conversation?
I think that my questionnaire is very detailed, and I try to
Okay.
get as much information as I can from that. Um, my favorite, probably three questions. The first one would be, what do you want to keep in the room? Because you know I if you just start from scratch and they're like, but wait, I have this, it's like your design, you don't want your design to
Of
just
course.
be thrust on them. You want to be collaborative and work with what they
Of
have. But then
course.
also I ask if there's anything meaningful, when it comes to like, do they like to travel, do they like is there a certain place that's important to them, or person, or anything like that they want in their home. Like, so I'm not trying to like get like all their deepest secrets, but I just, if there's something that's important to them that they want incorporated, like, I'm working with a client right now who her and her husband really love Paris, but they don't like a Parisian theme, but they do want subtle nods to it.
Hints.
And then
Yeah.
finally, I always ask them to upload some inspiration photos, because
Makes
that
sense.
really
Yeah.
shows more than the questionnaire ever could. Because
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
really see like what they like, and I'll say, well, what is it that you like about this picture? because a lot of time they're totally different from each other. So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's telling.
I was gonna say, like, oftentimes when I'm trying to like pull up, like, my inspiration board is like, I can't tell what is actually similar between, like, I like the wallpaper in this, and I would see like the lamp in that and stuff. So yeah, it's tricky business, and it's I think that's where like the skill of an interior designer really comes through, and I think it's awesome that you talked through it. Um, so I mean, since you kind of you took the plunge through COVID, and you've kind of I would say powered through all of those challenges today. What is your sort of advice to, aspiring interior designers? Today the market is obviously opening up a lot more. So what would your recommendation or like ideas be for interior designers, or traditional designers, honestly, looking to adopt a virtual model to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy not to. I know that a lot of people, especially when their ideal client is more on like the higher budget end of the spectrum, I think that that's like kind of their bread and butter. So they're like, well, why would I waste my time with something cheaper or whatever? But I mean, I think that at the core of all of us, we're not doing this to just be millionaires. We're, like we want people to love where they live. And like, you know, never before we have this opportunity to connect with people, and there's so many different ways to make these mood boards and to do all these things where and to inspire a whole different audience, where I just think it's crazy not to do it. And for the people that are just now kind of interested in this industry, like this is a great kind of low risk way to dip your
Yeah.
toes into the water, because people aren't paying you thousands and thousands of dollars to do this. And it's not taking you months and months and months. It's a very
Exactly.
it's a very accessible thing. And I think that also the market has with retailers, you're not really able to kind of get things as exclusive on, especially at a cheaper price,
Yeah.
as you may have been able to in the past. It's very much,
Yeah.
retail has made interior design very accessible for people. And so it's sort of just this adapting to the times thing, I think. And I think it's fun to get everybody involved. I think, you'd be crazy not to adapt and put a virtual option with your
Yeah.
services.
I agree. I agree. And I think that's the whole idea. I mean, because today I think if with the traditional model, there's the word of mouth, and otherwise, like you're almost like limiting yourself to a very small audience, which is through like your like local surroundings and so on. So if you're able to, then like RoomPlays is essentially trying to break those barriers, so that, because otherwise you have to do your own SEO, you have to build your own website tech and like try to get discovered. So
Mhm.
hopefully what we're trying to do resonates. So like if you want an option to be connected with our audiences globally, right? This is going to be a pretty effective way to do that. So
Yeah.
that's the mission. Awesome. So I know you shared about how people can book your services. Maybe just a quick one. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you. This was one of the things I wanted to ask. So it's summer, and just want to get your thoughts on, what are some of the trends that you are kind of seeing, where you're at, but also maybe, from like conversations you've had with people in the country and so on.
Yeah, I think it's actually really exciting right now, because I think we've gone through a very long period of gray and neutral and just almost like sterile design. And now we are evolving to more color. And I definitely like, what I like about it is it's not pops of color, like that, where it's like, oh, have a white room and then just throw in a pillow. Like it's very
Yeah.
meaningfully, intentionally layered into the design in a way that doesn't feel like you're, in a rainbow or something that's out of place. Like it feels very
Yeah.
intentional, and that's super fun to experiment with. And that really is something that people are struggling with and needing help with, is how do I put color in? Like it's pretty easy to decorate with neutrals because
Yeah.
it's kind of low
Yeah.
risk, but then
Yeah.
they want color, and they're like, how do I do color? And so I'm
Yeah.
seeing a lot of that. And then also like textured furniture. So like the cane, the wicker, rattan, the grass cloth furniture, like everything is very textured, and
Mm.
it's really fun. I like it. I think it just adds another like layer and depth to the room. And I think that, you know, I think like my mom and like grandma like cringe and they're like, why do you want wicker? Like, why would you even do that? But it's, you know, finding new ways to kind of create that. I'm working with someone who has a faux bamboo bedroom set that they want, to figure out how to
Cool.
incorporate in their room, and it's like so fun to figure it out because
Yeah.
there's not a lot out there for
Yeah.
inspiration. So
Yeah.
you know, it adds just so much more character. So I love that. I think it's really
It's
fun.
amazing. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Wonderful. So before I let you go, I want you to maybe just quickly again share a little bit about how people can find you on RoomPlays and any parting thoughts that you want to share with us.
Yeah, if you can either search me directly, I believe on there. You can search Thread of Gold Home and find me that way, or you can look at the featured designers, and I'm on there with a picture of my family, with my babies and my husband, and basically you can decide. The accessories package is more affordable. It's $75. And that's super fun. I think it's just a nice, like, it sprinkles on the frosting kind of deal. Just a
Yeah.
very fun way to kind of pull everything together. And then I have a nursery design package on there, which is so fun. I have, you know, heaps of children, and I've gotten to do lots of nurseries and rooms for them, and we've moved a few times during their little short lifespan so far, and so always trying different things. They're kind of like my test subjects.
Subjects.
My older daughter is brutal. She tells me she doesn't like something, so I love designing kids' spaces, playrooms, and I also I love to design and incorporate like organization into the space because as someone with young children, I'm always thinking about like if I'm doing a living room for somebody. I think it's actually my cover photo for the accessories package is a virtual package that I did, and I gave her a round coffee table because I was like, well, I don't want your kid hitting its head on the corners, like, you know, and things like
Yeah.
that, where it's like I try to, or like incorporate pieces where there's like storage in them, and I like to give people, when I give them the shopping list, I really like to give kind of advice about placement or just how I love to link like pillow inserts or, you know, rug pads, things like that. And so I really try to think it through and make sure that it's in very collaborative too. I love to kind of check in with them several times to make sure I'm on the right track. And I always say, you cannot hurt my feelings. I promise it's not going to hurt my feelings. Roast it. It's fine. I can take it. It's not going to hurt me. And it kind of does hurt my feelings, but it's okay. The end product is always
You're only human, but no, I really
yeah.
appreciate it. I mean, you care. I mean, I think that's what comes through is you genuinely care to create value. Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I think this was just one of the most, I mean, I had so much fun learning more about you, and I hope our audience got to learn a little bit more about you as well.
Yes, thank
We'll be
you.
we'll be dropping all the details about Allison. And Allison, if you want to build out the portfolio more, please feel free to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And yeah, and folks, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a DM to us, and we'll get you connected to Allison and so on. So really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so
All
much,
right, thank
Allison.
you. Bye.
Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
You too. Bye.